this was a big thing, typecasting.
Yeah.
It was a big thing. And it happened to me completely. In fact, I was a very Bombay girl. So I didn't even own that many salwar suits. Frankly, I didn't own any. So I never wore any salwar suit or anything. And but when Mohabbatein released, that's all I got offered. And that's just how people saw me. Even if I tried to do something bolder or I did a film which was slightly bolder, I received huge backlash. And I was not very traditional, and I'm still not very traditional in my thought and my action. Like I did a full-blown kiss scene in the in the Rajshri video.
Yeah.
I didn't think so much about it. Everybody is a Shah Rukh fan. There was no way we could not be a Shah Rukh fan. And he's so charming, you know. He is such a... he is a personality. You know, when you first look at him, you think, you know, he's not that impressive to look at initially. But when he actually comes and speaks to you, it's like you can look at no one else, and he's so intelligent. It was a very sweet song, and it was a song in the rain and everything. And there's a shot where I take my sari pallo off. So that's, you know, that shot created like a furore, and there's like, you know, when actually it's such a, I mean, it was common even, you know, then. When we met Yashji, he's a riot. Like he was humorous and he was funny, and I just felt like this is something I want to do. It's not, and I had not like thought of doing a Hindi film before that. It was the first film I actually considered, and I just decided to do it because I liked them. I liked Adi. I liked the way he spoke to my dad and me.
Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guest today has been here, done that, and continues to do her own thing. She has seen it all. She started in the films, and today she's a legit entrepreneur doing her own thing. Extremely satisfied, extremely positive. I'm talking about the beautiful Preeti Jhangiani. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Rudrani.
But I mean it. I feel today when I met you, there's a sense of, besides self-worth and besides the confidence, there's also a feeling of peace when I look at you. When you are there in the industry and living with the chaos that it is, and then you kind of build your own world and find peace in it, it's kind of the ultimate goal. Do you feel you are there?
I don't think one should ever feel that they're there and that I've done it all and it's, you know, it's all done. Because as an actor, there's always a hunger to do more roles. As an entrepreneur, there's always that much more that you can do and that much further that you can take your product. So there's always a hunger for doing more things. But at the end of the day, like you said, there has to be at some point a sense of satisfaction, a sense of personal satisfaction, which yes, I do feel I have.
First, let's go back the memory lane a little bit. आपको ट्रू ब्लू आउटसाइडर कहा जा सकता है?
बिल्कुल.
एंड आप यहाँ पे आए, अपने खुद का एक स्पेस बनाया और फिर मोहब्बतें जैसी फिल्म का हिस्सा बनकर you got the kind of attention that very few actually get. Tell me how you looked at that for someone who had nothing to do with the movie business.
So yes, no family connection, absolutely no interest as well. And I think the first few film offers that I got, I did like completely not even look at it, just completely rejected because I was like, I'm not going to do films. I don't even know anything about films.
वो ad से हुई थी ना?
I basically started modeling and that was just for a lark, some commercial TV modeling because these people had come to college looking for a fresh face. And we were just young, wanted to bunk college. I got that ad. It was for Colgate Gel. I did that ad. Couple of pictures got circulated here and there and they went to the Rajshri office who were looking for a fresh face for their album Ye Hai Prem. They called me to their office and I went just straight from college. I was 16 at the time and 17 when we shot the video. And they just said that you're on and I told my dad and he said, fine, I'll come along with you. We had no idea of the enormity of, although I'm born and brought up in Mumbai and yes, films are quite a large part of every Mumbaikers growing up, but it wasn't that much of a craze that we saw every movie that came out and things. So I didn't know Rajshri films, Yash Raj films. We were not aware of the enormity of doing
So
So my dad used to travel with me and they said, they told my dad, you know, this is great. You become her father in the video. So my dad is actually playing
I love that.
my dad along with stalwarts, like, you know, there's Smita Jekar, there's, you know, Parikshit Sahani. There were quite, like everybody else in the video also was somebody who was a known face. So anyway, my dad plays my dad in that. So, you know, everything was just happening. And I was taking it as a lark and enjoying the extra pocket money. All the modeling that happened after the Rajshri music videos also. But yes, what actually happened was I realized that now I can't walk on my Bandra roads and eat pani puri at my regular stall without it causing a chaos and a crowd. And it happened very suddenly to me. You know, even in college I was still studying and things like that, so I couldn't like really, I then had to complete my college through correspondence, because mainly also because I was working continuously.
So post the music video, I think then of course you did a you know, you did a Malayalam film.
Yeah, the first people who landed up like literally at my doorstep in my house were the South Indian film producers. Telugu, Malayalam, everyone, they just... Then I seriously sat and thought that should I be doing a film. The Malayalam film I did mainly because I was, they were taking me to Austria for 40 days. So
A good reason to do
like,
it.
Yes, I'm doing it. But that's where I actually realized it ain't as easy as it looks, because I had a very tough taskmaster for a director, and he was very insistent that I say all the, you know, I learn my lines well, and exact expression that I learned a lot from that film. 40 days in Austria, I only shot, I don't think I saw Austria that much, but I actually learned what it is to make a film and how hard it actually is, and how much effort it actually takes to make a film. That, then immediately after that, my 2 Telugu films, my Tamil film, all of this was before Mohabbatein.
You work with the legends like Balakrishna and all of that, yeah?
Yes, Narasimha Naidu was with Balakrishna. Before that, Tamlu was with Pavan Kalyan.
I know, Pavan.
And my Tamil film, Hello, was with Prashant. So yes, I worked with a lot of very amazing actors who really are known for their hard work. Pavan Kalyan especially. You know, he was young that time and very, very hardworking.
Well, are you all still in touch sometimes? Are you all still friends?
Not so much, actually. Not so much. I was too young to really
It's more like a senior-junior kind of relationship.
It was very much of a senior-junior kind of relationship. So
All India hysteria, I think, मोहब्बतें के बाद थोड़ा ज़्यादा था, correct? And at that time, were you already studying? क्या आपने वो आप कर रही थी दोनों साथ में, or were you?
By the time I did Mohabbatein, I was acting, modeling full time. So, and then Mohabbatein kind of took over our life for the whole year. They, you know, Adi made sure that we were trained in every aspect. So the whole day was busy. There was no chance I could do any studying along with that. So, you know, that was where the studying part ended. Yeah.
Yash Raj is the place that gave birth to so many superstars. और आप उन्हीं corridors में जा रहे थे. Overwhelming था या वो शुरुआत में कैसा था and by the end of it कैसा था?
See, like I said, when I went to meet Adi, it was not like we were going to the Yash Raj office, you know. We went to meet him, and he was so genuine and nice and so straightforward. When we met Yashji, he's a riot. Like, he was humorous and he was funny, and I just felt like this is something I want to do. It's not, and I had not thought of doing a Hindi film before that. It was the first film I actually considered, and I just decided to do it because I liked them. I liked Adi. I liked the way he spoke to my dad and me, and he was very straightforward and very open. And he said I was the first person they signed for the film, and he said, you know, if you don't do this, I'll have to make sure that, you know, you're not doing anything else, because you'll have to concentrate on this completely. I know you're doing other South films. But I didn't, again, this was not something I thought twice about it. I just liked them, and I knew that they were trying to make something very exceptional. Afterwards, yes, the training, everything kind of took over our lives. But I would never say that, I don't know whether it was like a blessing in disguise, because when you're very young, you're not in awe of anything. You're just You know,
trying
you
to do
have
the best.
You're working hard and you have the confidence of youth.
So true.
So you're,
put.
you know, I was enjoying the whole the procedure, the process. I had to be a Kathak dancer, which I had never done in my life. So I had to train with my Master Ji every single day, and Tarun Mansukhani had to come and shoot it. He was the assistant director at that time, Nikhil Advani as well. So Tarun used to come to my house every day and be forced to eat parathas by my mother. And bichara, he had to shoot me to see the progress I had made every single day. So on everything, after that, we had immediately had to go to the Yashraj office to do training in voice throwing, in diction, Hindi diction. And then immediately after that, we had film dancing with Farah.
Of course. That must have been exciting.
And then, yeah, in between we had scenes. We used to train in different kind of film scenes with Adi. We had to learn stuff and go. And so the whole day was busy. Then we had Barry John flown in from Delhi to train us for about 15-20 days. He did that too. So 8 months this was, continuous.
And you were also hanging out with the other co-stars.
Yeah, so we were together 24/7, constantly, all the time.
You and Shamita.
Came me, Shamita, Uday, Jugal. Jimmy came in much later, actually. Jimmy's role there, I mean, was not finalized for much later. And he had already done a couple of Hindi films. He was the only one who had not, who had done a couple of Hindi films before.
Were you a Shah Rukh fan when you were doing the film already?
Everybody is a Shah Rukh fan. There was no way we could not be a Shah Rukh fan. And he's so charming, you know.
Yes.
He is such a, he is a personality. You know, when you first look at him, you think, you know, he's not that impressive to look at initially, but when he actually comes and speaks to you, it's like you can look at no one else. And he's so intelligent, he's so charming, he's, you know, it's hard for anybody to not look at him.
Is there a core memory where you kind of got like intimidated or overwhelmed by Shah Rukh Khan himself?
I was a little intimidated by Mr. Amitabh Bachchan.
For sure.
And I was, you know, on camera, yes, I was always very confident and very, I don't know what it was, but on camera, whenever I modeled, acted, even when I was young, I found it came naturally to me and I was more confident. But off camera, I was always very shy. So very, very introverted. It was difficult for me. And I remember on the sets, it was quite cold in Film City when we were shooting the whole set in Film City. And I remember Amitabh Bachchan came and he gave me a shawl to wear. So and I said, no, I can't take it. No, I can't take it. And Yashji is like, listen, if Amitabh Bachchan gave me that shawl, I would take it. I would run home. I would not give it back to him. You have an opportunity to take his shawl. And I regretted today that I was like,
can I get that shawl back, Mr. Bachchan?
I'll take it now.
I'll take it now. But is there a core memory with Shah Rukh?
Yes, there is. Although we didn't have that many scenes with him, but yeah, because we had so many. Like we were in London together in the same hotel. We were in Switzerland together in the same hotel. So it was almost like a family. And every evening we would play games. And it's common knowledge and legendary that Adi and Shah Rukh would be fighting every evening because they would be playing a game and they're both very, very competitive. Like neither can lose. So it was scary to be in either one's team. And I remember I was in Shah Rukh's team and I was an avid reader and there was some question, something that they knew which was, the answer was Sydney Sheldon and I knew it, but I couldn't speak it because I was like, what if it's wrong?
Then you get blamed for that loss.
So then after it got said that it was Sydney Sheldon, I was like, yes, I knew it was Sydney Sheldon. He said, why didn't you speak? You know, Shah Rukh was like, why didn't you say? You know, I would have won that point. Yeah. And things like that. But also on the set, I remember there was this one, the Holy song where I wasn't getting the words right. The shot was not being okayed. And then Shah Rukh came to me and said, you know, you actually have to sing the song because the camera catches every lie. And you're lying if you're not actually singing the song. And I always had a kind of a deeper voice, which twice everyone thought of, like Adi and everyone thought of dubbing my voice also. We were actually debating whether to not use my voice in the actual film, but eventually my voice was only used.
Yeah, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, but at the time I think it was more female voices should be sweeter and the role was very soft. So they didn't know if we should use if the voice may make it. But anyway, eventually my voice was used. So I was conscious of singing
Yeah.
loudly because obviously I'm not a great singer. But eventually I did sing the song and I sang it out loud and the shot was okay then.
Well, it's wonderful. He's always very helpful. I hear these really sweet
Very helpful
stories.
and doesn't feel like he's being preachy to you.
Yeah.
Not like
Not schooling you.
Not schooling you or trying to like
Yeah.
show, you know, that is similar to him as well as to Mr. Bachchan, who is, I would say, a child at heart. Just doesn't want to, he's like, don't make me sit with the oldies. I want to sit with you guys.
So
what are you all
cute.
gossiping about? Things like that.
So cute. But you know, I know another story about how you had really apparently practiced this dance and you were super confident and then you were like, now I'm going to kill it, and then you apparently went in front of the camera or फिर आप गिर गई.
Yeah, that
And
was a
then-
bad, yeah.
Am I right about this?
That's a very, yeah, it's not embarrassing anymore because it was very embarrassing.
I love the confidence.
It was very embarrassing at the time because unfortunately that day on set there was a lot of guests who had come to see the shoot. There was Yashji had come when he would not come very often. Juhi Chawla was there that day.
Oh,
I think
no.
Karan Johar had come that day. Kajol had come that day.
All of
So
them
they
came.
just come to meet and just, you know, the
Yeah.
shoot was going on and everything. And it was the circles that I had to
Yeah.
do, the turns, which I had practiced.
The Kathak circles.
That Kathak set I had practiced like to death. I can do those steps till date. Till date. If anybody, like if I'm, you know, attending an event or somebody, everyone's like, you know, do you remember the steps? Can you do it? I said, I can do that right now. I can do those steps in my sleep because I was so
Practice so much.
practiced, yeah, in that. Geeta Kapoor, who is now obviously so popular in all the television shows,
course,
she's the
Geeta
one who
Ma.
actually, yeah, she's the one who actually trained me, and well, the entire credit has to go to her because I was very bad. I was
Very good in the
I
show, that
was,
matters.
yeah, so I had to practice a lot because obviously I was not a trained dancer, and this girl in the film is actually somebody who is completely a trained dancer, and it's her passion.
So you fell.
So-
which
So
is
yeah, I
okay.
was taking the turns and I fell not very in a quite an awkward position. Luckily, I had that sari which wouldn't fly up. Luckily, I didn't have a skirt like Shamita or Kim.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
would be bad.
That'd be. But also, ये Shamita or Kim ka, you know, that they had the glamorized roles. Like in yours, like you said, soft, feminine, Indian, more rooted in traditions wala role tha. इससे दो चीजें हुई. Of course, you know, everybody assumed that you are like that
Yes.
in real life as well. पर उससे एक और चीज़ ये भी हुई कि आपसे expectation ये रही कि you will continue doing only roles like that. Like your fans, I think, were a lot of people. How did that impact your career? Because I know things like that can.
At the time, this was a big thing, typecasting.
Yeah.
It was a big thing, and it happened to me completely. In fact, I was a very Bombay girl, so I didn't even own that many salwar suits. Frankly, I didn't own any, so I never wore any salwar suit or anything. And but when Mohabbatein released, that's all I got offered. And that's just how people saw me. Even if I tried to do something bolder or I did a film which was slightly bolder, I received huge backlash for it. And I think the audience was really not able to accept me, or maybe I wasn't presented well in different kind of roles. So yeah, that is true. I did get quite typecast in the kind of roles I was offered.
So when you did Chahat, this is what happened to you. You feel
For sure.
what
film was
really
like-
happened then?
So Chahat was in fact it's a beautiful film if you watch it. It's a lovely film and the songs are beautiful. Jatin Lalit have done the music and it's lovely. The songs are really, really nice. So, and it was a very sweet song and it was a song in the rain and everything, and there's a shot where I take my sari palo off. So that's, you know, that shot created like a furore, and there's like, you know, when actually it's such a, I mean, it was common even, you know, then.
कुछ होता है ना shot of Kajol doing that as well.
So yeah, it was I received like kind of hate mail for that.
Yeah? What did the mail say?
So it's not just about the film industry that saw me that way. I think it was even the audience that didn't want me to kind of do
Any kind
any
of like
other
glamorous,
glam or out of the
sexy kind of a
yeah.
role.
I ended up I was so fiery about it. I ended up doing a negative role in Victoria 203, and I
Correct.
loved it. I had a great time doing it.
So you were fighting that, and people around you were telling you कि आप मत करो इस तरह के roles क्योंकि
Yeah,
audience
correct. Yes,
industry से क्या feedback मिल रहा था, and did you at some point, because you know Adi is such a mentor,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
like did you go to him say कि like मैं क्या करूँ?
No, I didn't feel that. I was so, like I said, I was very introverted and very, so I didn't feel that I, should, that it's a done thing and that one should, one could actually go, and they were so approachable and so nice, there was, and I
But
had
maybe
so
you
many
were awkward
friends.
about it.
Yeah, so I was, and not being from the film industry, not having, film peers around you, it does play a part in your psyche, so you don't feel very confident approaching. Well, although, of course, in retrospect, I could totally have just, gone to them for advice.
So when you say hate mail, what were they writing? So that's your version of trolls, basically.
Yeah, my
Aaj ke
version
trolls.
of, but they used to write letters and all, because I remember Yash Raj gave me 2 sacks of mail, then later switched to emails. So then they used to get emails. So they used to forward the emails to me and flood my inbox. But yeah, so I don't know. There were letters at that time that used to come.
But it must have been very constricting क्योंकि as an artist आप तो चाहते हो ना कि आप हर तरह के रोल करो.
Yeah, and I was not very traditional, and I'm still not that very traditional in my thought and my action. Like I did a full-blown kiss scene in the in the Rajshri video.
Yeah.
I didn't think so much about it.
So unlike a lot of other people, that's true. Unlike a lot of other people, you didn't have these rules ki no kissing clause, no this and that, because you were pretty okay with it.
No, I've grown up watching English films. My family is very, it's never been that wear this or don't wear this. No one's ever told me what to wear or where to go. And then you don't know how to take it, whether, and you're young. Like I said, you're introverted. You're not really like but your thought process, it doesn't, just because you're introverted or not very outspoken, doesn't mean that you are demure. It doesn't mean that you only think like that.
True.
So there's many aspects to a woman, and
of course.
And I think now it's very different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And so post that, because this conversation is also heading there, is because you, after 5 years nearly, you decided to kind of take that break, which people in 5-6 years, you know what I'm saying, you are like, I should take that break, which is early, because a lot of people still put in a lot of time and they are like ki nahi shayad mujhe wo role milega. I feel like you were extremely self-aware also, and you didn't want to do things like that. I want to know realization kab hua, and industry mein kis tarah ke roles diye ja rahe the. It was a very different time also, Preeti. So I want you to break down how that impacted you and resulted in your own kind of understanding.
See, I wasn't thinking so much about it. I was working. I was still doing a lot of South films and Hindi films, and I was continuously working till I was 28, 29. I was continuously working. Even after I got married, that was again something I didn't think about. I found the right person and I got married. I didn't think how it would impact my career.
But it
like
does,
that.
no, a little bit.
It did. Of course it did. It impacted my career, of course. But then I was immediately after that, I left for a 2-month tour. I got married and just immediately left with Udit and Aditya Nayan. We had a huge US tour in the US. I left for that. I was continuously working. I think it actually stopped when I got pregnant with my first child. And then things slowed down a bit after that yet, but it didn't slow down personally for me, because we had started our own company by then. Parvin and I immediately started our company after marriage. We wanted to make Sven Entertainment. We wanted to make movies. That was our ultimate, aim.
But it's lovely, because a lot of female actors who've turned producers always tell that for people who don't get opportunities, you'll have to make opportunities, and that is why we decided to become producers.
Yeah.
What were the advices that you thankfully didn't take, but that was kind of getting annoying? I think along with women anyways get a lot of free advice that we honestly don't want, but I think female actors get a lot of advice as well. Like you were saying, ki shaadi mat karo is age mein, you will not be glamorous enough. So I want to know about that phase, because I feel like it kind of also makes the next stage in your life.
It's very difficult to pinpoint that I never decided to stop. that wasn't my thing. It wasn't, I just started choosing my roles more carefully, and I chose what I wanted to do. As soon as I was, and plus I was getting very busy with other aspects of my life, such as motherhood and my company. So at that time, I was starting to get very busy, and I didn't want to waste my time doing something that is not worth my time. So it wasn't a pinpointed time that this was the time I decided, or I was getting unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice I was getting throughout my career.
Which were?
So all kinds of,
Like?
there was a time, it was the time of managers and agents, and I used to hate, having managers and agents around me. I couldn't speak to them. They weren't on the same level as me. I didn't, I was being told to accept one-liner scripts and then say yes to the story or to the film on the basis of one line. I said, but what is my role? What is the story? Things like that. So all of that was kind of, it was not a great time in terms for actresses as such at that time. So all of that, and plus, like I said, I was getting very busy with my own life and my company and things like that. And like you said, no, we didn't start wanting to make movies because we wanted to make opportunities for ourselves. No, it was a passion. Filmmaking was a passion, and we both wanted to.
Not for ourselves, opportunities for the industry per se, like
yes,
like make the kind of films you want to do,
want
which
to
you
see.
could never be a part of.
Yeah, I wanted to make the kind of films that I want to see. And Parvin was always a creative force behind it. I think I have always been the more accounting money side of it, being Sindhi.
You're of course.
So the whole creative and actually the ideating and the writing the script and all was Parveen. But he really pushed me in every aspect even when this whole social media thing was out. I'm very, really do I have to click a picture of my food plate, and I have to really give it to Parveen for having pushed me in so many ways. I can be quite lazy, and
you like your own
terms
space.
Yeah, and I like my space, and I don't really like to be told what to do. But if he hadn't done that, I would be in a different space. So I have to really give it to him for being, really showing me what all I can achieve as well. So we've done this together. I would say I have pushed him in different ways, and he has pushed me in different ways. Yes.
How did you change when you met Parveen? Because I feel like you're already this very confident, independent sort of soul. But the way you talk about him makes me realize that he's really added to you rather than change you in any way.
Yes, and that was something that attracted me to him in the beginning. That yes, he did always added to me. Always, I never felt. You see a lot of actors being very narcissistic and always looking in the mirror, and it's just about them, and everything is about them. And as an actor, you don't blame them, because as an actor, everything has to be about you. You have to be a little bit more obsessed with yourself and concentrating on yourself, which I found very refreshingly different. He had many other interests besides just acting, and even the acting he did do was very thought out and very trained, very unlike me, who's very instinctive. So, any role was very well thought into. He would write about the back story of the character and things like that. At the time when these things were not done, he was trained in New York. He had grown up in Canada. Yet he was Desi at heart, a Delhi boy. So there were a lot of aspects that he was a scuba diver. He was an underwater photographer.
Nice.
He does a lot of things besides just acting, which is what I found attractive about him, and which is what also pushed me into doing other things. I started very young, so I knew no other life. I only knew that you go to that place, you shoot, and you come back. I never really explored that place, and I shot in so many exotic locations, but I never really explored the place. And he taught me that you're going there, you explore it, you see it, enjoy the place as well.
It's very interesting you say that about Parveen, is because sometime back the idea that I got from the conversation also was that I'm not the kind of person who would want to go and think about, oh, maybe I'll find my romantic partner on a film set.
Yeah, never.
क्योंकि मुझे लगता है, like you likely said, I don't like getting too many instructions, and I was building my own world, and I cut off when I'm going back. So very interesting that you finally found your romantic partner on a film set.
On a
ना?
film set, yeah.
तो मुझे उसके बारे में जानना है.
So let me tell you, I've had a really a good time in the industry, and I've never had so many any uncomfortable stories or situations, which I have to say I'm very thankful
Lucky.
for. Yeah?
Yeah.
And whoever I've worked with, and it's always been a lovely journey. I've gotten to work with really good directors, and you know, who even today, if I meet them, it would be a very warm kind of relationship. So I think in that sense, I've never had any awkward situations or difficult situations with anybody. Plus, maybe my parents were always around. I'm a Bombay girl. I think it's difficult and different when you come from another town and you have to really struggle to survive. So I never had a struggle period.
Yeah.
And it was not my dream or my ambition to get into movies and films and this is what I have to do. That passion developed only much later. That, oh, you know, this is what I like to do and this is what I enjoy doing. And even then, it was never a push or a driven ambition. When I did a job, I did it to my utmost perfection. But it was not a struggle for daily survival.
Yeah.
So I think that really contributed to my peace of mind always. I always had family support and I do till date. You know, with my kids, and the only reason I'm able to work is because my mom and my sister and everyone lives in the same building as me. So in India, we have that privilege.
Yeah. So no crushes before Parvin also on actors or co-actors.
I wasn't a saint. Yes, of course
That's
I had.
why you were sounding like very like sound like let me pass.
No, of course not. Of course
But
I had.
I'm sure.
Of course I had crushes on a lot of actors and Akshaye Khanna in LOC.
He's just
He is again, I felt somebody very in his own, doing his own thing.
He doesn't come out only.
Yeah, very well spoken, very attractive. Saif Ali Khan. Very well spoken, very, again, charming, very attractive. So, yeah, of course.
And but then crushes remain crushes and then you met the love of your life. How did that happen? Did you know that moment when you knew this is the man I'm going to marry and actually build a whole empire, if I can say so?
I knew that this is the man I'm going to marry. When he proposed to me, I was, you know, I didn't take much time to say yes. But you never know that, oh, this is the love of my life. It wasn't like that.
But there's a moment always, you know, Preeti.
But
like, you know that I think this one's going to be the person.
Yeah, the moment was when he actually asked me and I didn't have to think. So that was the moment. We didn't speak much or interact much on the sets. It was in Manali. It was the most romantic location you can think of.
I know.
But we didn't interact much on the sets. Parveen was off trekking or photography whenever there was some free time. And I remember Sharad Saxena he was playing my father in the film and we used to sit together having chai or something. He used to, वो लड़का थोड़ा अजीब सा नहीं लगता है जब देखो मधुमक्खी की फोटो ले रहा है यहाँ पे ट्रैकिंग कर रहा है घूम रहा है तो थोड़ा अजीब. So on the sets we didn't interact much. It was only later during the promotions that we actually got to know each other and started dating.
But and of course post that getting married and then of course continuing the partnership that you have.
Yeah.
Where did the idea of you know, besides Swear Entertainment, getting into spotting leads come from, Preeti? Because, and also both of you picked a sport that was really not being discussed. Panja ladana, literally, you know. Cricket में बहुत जन invest कर रहे थे, बहुत सारे दूसरे, you know, tennis was gaining popularity and badminton and anything else. यहाँ नहीं. तो मुझे जानना है, where did the seed really come in?
Sports, Parveen and I both played in school. So I played baseball, throw ball, handball, everything. We played in school. But I was a big fan of tennis. I watched a lot of tennis. But I cannot say that sports was my thing and I was very into doing sports. Parveen, on the other hand, is a huge MMA combat sport fan. He even boxes for recreational and even, you know, so we started, or rather the idea came from Parveen to start a podcast on mixed martial arts, which was a void in India. There wasn't that much news or info about MMA.
Back then, yeah?
Back then, but which was huge abroad. And Parveen was a huge fan. So the MMA India show started with that. It was more what Parveen started as a fanboy. You know, it was more like a podcast. But it slowly went on to become the #1 show on MMA. So till date, it's you know, the UFC has taken a note of it, and they actually, there was a time when they wanted to come down to India and set up a base here. Is when they contacted the first people they contacted was us, because you know, the MMA India show was that big, is that big in India. But from that, when we had the idea of getting into the promotion of sport, we knew that the sport that we wanted to get into, #1 had to be a sport that us coming in would make a difference to the sport. The other sports like kabaddi and cricket, tennis already have a lot of support behind it. They already had a lot of interest. They already had a lot of government
Massive
support
investments.
and other investments behind it. Arm wrestling, on the other hand, although they had a federation and was being played and there was a huge number of athletes in India, it didn't have any support, and we knew that, we also felt that it was a sport that could gain nationwide interest. That if it actually came on air, because people had not seen it on broadcast, on air or anything, but we felt that it actually got popular and came on air. This was a sport that could go crazy in India. Already when we started research on it abroad, it was huge. It is huge. There's huge government support behind it. The teams like now when we take Team India to the World Championships and Asian Championships, Kazakhstan brings about 300 athletes, and Uzbekistan and you know, Kyrgyzstan, they'll bring huge number of athletes. Romania, you know, there'll be huge number of athletes from there. But India can only bring very few, because #1, that the athletes don't get huge sponsors. So all of that, we realized that once India becomes arm wrestling becomes popular in India, it's because we have the numbers and we have the
Talent.
athletes, we have the talent, and all it needed was a stage.
How lovely.
And that's what the Pro Punja League gave it.
Which is fantastic. Today has been a year, you know, and you're heading into the second season. It's grown bigger. Does it feel nostalgic for you that it's
Not really been a year. It's been many, many years since we started.
we
Officially, we actually started in 2017-18, and 2020 was our first event, which was inaugurated by Shri Kiran Rijiju. So it's been a lot of years, and it's been a tough couple of years, because everything from convincing even somebody like a Sony Sports that this is a sport that can be watched on broadcast. You know, our social media was already through the roof. We had huge number of views, more than any other sport. But to convince the broadcast channel that this is something that people will watch on broadcast, it was also another. So it's a lot of stories and a lot of journey, a huge journey. So yes, the first season is just finished, and we're on the cusp, on the verge of season 2. But it feels like lifetimes.
And then you had Sunil Shetty joining in, like having a minor stake in it, which is very interesting. It grows bigger.
So for Sunil Shetty, I would just like to say he's not just known as an actor, entrepreneur. He's also known as a very, very smart businessman, which he is.
He is.
He has helped us in every aspect, and he's always there for advice. And we have seen that his advice has always been spot on everything. He has a fantastic team with him that works with him.
You know, when I think about it, you also have your own relationships that kind of last till the end, and you know, they're not the fair weather friends as we call them, right? इस इंडस्ट्री में आप उन्हें कौन होंगे वो आपके लिए? Because there are few, but then there are people like that.
I think any of my Mohabbatein friends team,
Are you still
if
in
I
touch
call
with Uday
them,
and stuff like that also?
I think, you know, Uday not so much. I think he's not so much in touch with a lot of people.
Jimmy?
But Jimmy, yes. I think anytime I meet him, it is always that, you know, there's always be a warmth. We've been first co-stars, so definitely. Kim, of course, yes, she's a very dear friend.
And she's an entrepreneur herself.
And yeah, she is. So, you know, definitely. Shamita, yes, whenever we meet, it's very warm. And yeah, Jugal is not in town. He lives in the States, but I have connected with him for a couple of projects, and it's always been so that connection will always be there with the Mohabbatein team. But in general, Sunil, I've done 5 movies with. I think 4 or 5 movies with. And yeah, so there's always, and people I've worked with, yes, always has been, if I meet them, yes, there's always a connection.
You were your own person, but there wasn't social media at that time doing what it is doing today. When you see it, how do you look at that? Because it would have been a very different world for you. Do you think you got to have a little bit of relationships, you got to live a life like any other person, versus today, which everything is up for a debate and everybody's opinion on it?
That's true. So you have to be so careful as to what you say or how you speak or what you write online, because if it's online, it's there forever. And as such, as a person, I'm not that filtered.
Which I love, which is that, you can see.
Or as that much thought out.
Sure.
But yeah, so at that time it was simpler, but simpler in the sense, yes, it was simpler then.
What are the mistakes you've made that you feel like, thank God social media wasn't there?
I can't think of any example right now, but I think, yes, of course, like relationships and things, they weren't that publicized, luckily.
Yeah, and it's kind of a relief, right?
So because every young kid is going to have like, a couple of boyfriends or a couple of girlfriends, you know what I mean? And sometimes you look back and say, what was I thinking, dating that person? And
everybody has that moment.
And luckily it's not like all over the, it's all over the net, yeah. So yeah, I would say things like that.
You're a kind of person who could detach also, no? From the kind of place that you're in, whether it's work or otherwise?
Maybe I don't take, I'm still like that. I still don't take things so seriously.
Does that help?
It helps a lot. I'm always sleeping at night.
Even with critique for your, when they come and write stuff about how you're doing, does this kind of attitude help again? Like, can you move on from one film not doing well to the other and stuff?
I can.
It helps, no? Preeti?
Yeah, it helps. It just helps. Yeah, I've always been like I have always had not taken things too seriously. There were things written about me. There were wrong things written, wrong reporting done.
For
wrong,
what?
so in various aspects. But many times I felt, it didn't affect me so much.
How did that change post motherhood? How do you think the casting was being done, and what did they come and say and stuff?
At the time when I had my first son, there wasn't, they weren't really thinking of this that once you've had a child, it's all done. But I was working. I was still working. I remember doing a show when I was 8 months pregnant. Show means I went for an appearance or an event. So I was still going for appearances, events and things. Like things that I said, I felt were worth my time and rather not do a role that I feel is not worth my time. So, but yeah, now that I think back, yes, there was there wasn't a lot of roles and scripts being written for women post motherhood, because the general industry census was that once that the woman is not that exciting to the audience. Of course, it wasn't the audience's idea; it was an industry thought, I would say.
Because it wasn't happening to the men.
Yeah, which then changed with a lot of the other actresses continuing to work after marriage. But I never gave it, like I said, it wasn't something I was thinking of at that time, that, are my roles dwindling because, I've become a motherhood. Motherhood is a very exciting time in one's life. So you're very much focused on your baby and your child and enjoying that time. I had happily gained, I think, 25, 26 kgs. I was huge. And I didn't realize it even, you look at yourself every day, you don't even realize. I remember, we had just produced Saeed Ande Galat Bande, we had finished shooting for it, and we were doing the promotions of it, and I was wearing this short diesel outfit. And later when I saw my pictures, I was like, what was I thinking? Because I was, you're huge and you don't realize, and you're still dressing like a teenager. Which is fine anyway. So yeah.
Which is absolutely fine. You're being who you are.
Yeah. So.
But it's a problem. Today also when they expect women to kind of become exactly who they are, the unrealistic expectations of body standards.
You can't very soon.
How do you do that? And it's unfair on the women as well.
Yes.
Instead of kind of asking if she's happy, the shaming is ridiculous. Even today, you see Aishwarya, and she's such a fantastic person.
Yeah.
But the hate around, oh, she's looking this way is, I think, unnecessary. What are your thoughts on that?
For Ash, it's incomparable. The what she has to withstand and the strength she must have to continuously withstand, not just about herself but about her daughter and you know.
It's ridiculous.
So I don't think you can compare Ash's story to anybody else. She, you know, she has to face a lot more than anybody does. But I really do give her credit because she doesn't care.
Yeah, she's made of very strong metal.
Yeah, and it shows that she doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I remember some interview of hers that said that, you know, motherhood affects different women in different ways. So just because I can't, and can your entire pregnancy be about how much I'm eating because, oh, I don't want to get fat? Oh, you know. So it can't be that, and I think only once you go through it, or only a mother can understand, because every woman's body reacts differently.
Yeah, so true. Absolutely, so true. But didn't you know you have two wonderful children? Have they watched your? What have they watched? Anything that you've done?
Not that much.
Not yet.
No. Parveen
Have you
and
shown
I
shots of Mohabbatein?
Yeah, they've seen some stuff on TV. We haven't really sat them down and made them watch our films. They've seen some stuff on TV. They're not much of Hindi film buffs. They watch their English and kiddie stuff. And plus we keep them away. We don't take them with us on shoots or events and appearances. We don't show their face on social media. We don't want them to be affected by what they see around them. Anyway, the kids today are in any case spoilt. I would say
with all the phones,
child,
right?
With phones or anything, getting what they want, any child, even if it's even if it's a middle class family, Indian children are spoilt. They are spoiled in the sense they get everything they want. So we want them to have a taste of what they will need to do, of hard work and effort, that anything you do in life will require hard work and effort, and nothing will be given to you on a platter, no matter whose child you are. So we want that to
you want them to recognize their privilege.
we want them to know that. So even they travel by bus, we don't do the whole car driver thing for them. And yeah, we don't expose them too much to the film industry.
Okay, this is the last segment. Some more fun short questions. Are you ready?
Surely.
Okay. A rumor about yourself that makes you laugh.
The one that you said, that I have had many heartbreaks.
You've not had any.
No.
So you were the heartbreaker. No.
I don't know about that, but I have not had that.
You have had too many heartbreaks. Okay, fair enough. A misconception that people had about you who don't know you.
That I'm very snobbish.
They think that?
Yeah, they think that. A lot of people think that.
Wow. What's been the most weirdest audition that you had to give?
Many weird auditions.
This is where the question gets me fun answers.
No, I can't remember anybody. There have been many times where but nothing I can remember. Sorry, I don't have a fun answer right now.
No problem. Okay. A movie that you got replaced from that you really regretted.
I did get replaced from a couple of films, but the films never got made. Only
So it आपके ही नाम पे था वो. It never got made only.
No, there was a Saif and Aftab film which I did, and then later I heard that there's somebody else in it, but I don't know if that film got made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you regret not doing a film or saying no to any script in particular, and why?
Yes, there was a lot of films I said no to immediately after Mohabbatein because I felt that I'd already signed too many. And then, the dates have a way of working themselves out. But unfortunately, the films that I did sign, a lot of them didn't work out. So, and a lot of the ones that I did
Said no to. So, which was the one that you regret now when you see it? Oh, I had gotten this. It would have been lovely.
None that I can name.
None that you can name. Oh, like that. Okay. One of your most favorite co-star and why?
Govinda, I would say.
Of course.
He was fun. And I learnt a lot.
Yeah.
And very cool kind of guy, and somebody you can really imbibe a lot from. In terms of, he was very very nice to everybody around him, and always had 10 different ways of doing one shot. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
A film industry advice that you didn't take.
so many. So many. Don't kiss, uh, don't, uh, uh, don't wear short clothes or anything to functions. Don't. So I always wore what I felt like to a lot of the film functions in the beginning as well. Don't get married too soon.
What has been your craziest fan proposal or fan meeting till date?
There was a fan who came and said that you have to get married to me, and listen, I've written this letter for you in blood and things like that. And I said, listen, you can come in and have a, he came right up to my doorstep. I didn't have much security at that time. I was
Of course.
living in my same flat in Bandra. And, I said, you can, we were very polite and nice to him. So he said, ठीक है, मैं राखी भी लाया हूँ. आप मुझे राखी बांध दो फिर.
This was super weird. I did not see that coming. Okay then.
He's like, fine, you don't get married, I got a rakhi. You can tie me.
Cool.
मुझे भैया बना लो. लेकिन कुछ तो बना लो.
पहला ऐसा मैंने proposal सुना है. पहले इंसान. This is truly the weirdest
it was very
proposal fan interaction that I've heard. Okay. If you had to pick 4-5 actors who should participate in their own Celebrity Pro Punjab League, which names would you take and why?
Participate in their own Celebrity Pro Punjab.
Like in this, if there's a celebrity sort of round someday, then they should come in. Who would you suggest?
We have many on our wish list.
Let's hear it.
John Abraham.
Okay.
Sunny Deol, 2.5 kilo ka haath on the table. So we've already had them on the table.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but like to have a celebrity round of them.
Yeah.
These two. And Sunil Shetty, of course. Then I would say another one for with the macho image, Salman Khan. Salman Khan is somebody we would really love to have on the table.
Pretty interesting names.
Yeah.
Any female actors you think should also come in? We have so
Female
many that are all doing action films and all of that. So.
Deepika, known for strength, power. Anushka, maybe?
Yeah. If you had to give a suggestion to your kids from your filmography, what would you pick and why?
Oh, to watch?
Yeah.
Well, I did a film called Chand Ke Paar Chalo, which did quite well, in all over the north. And I think that was a nice film. It had a nice thought.
Rajasthani film?
No, it wasn't Rajasthan.
No, I said you've done a Rajasthani film
I have,
also that
I
you
have.
won award for, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. It was called, it's called Tauro.
Tauro, correct.
The Sunlight. It's about the caste system that still exists in some parts of India. So yeah, Chand Ke Paar Chalo had a nice story about how you can, success can take you to such heights and you can forget about what is really important to you. So that's a story I would like them to watch.
So that's lovely. Okay, the last one is an actor and a director you would love to collaborate with today and why?
At the top of my head would be, I recently saw this show on Netflix, the director of RRR.
Mr. Rajamouli.
Yeah, Mr. Rajamouli. What was the show on Netflix?
His
Yeah,
documentary.
it was about, the documentary, yeah. What was the show called? I can't remember what
Yeah.
the show was called. I recently saw it.
It's his
But,
documentary, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's about them and how they won and about his family and everything. So yeah, so definitely Rajamouli. I did work with him actually in a song, just a song. With Junior NTR dancing, yeah. So this was it was a film called. I'll have to.
Yeah,
think
but
it
okay,
was-
you have collaborated with Junior
So
NTR.
yeah, we did do a song together, but definitely a full-fledged film with Rajamouli would be
Fantastic.
exciting
Exciting for sure. Is there
anyone.
For anyone, is there a male actor that you'd love to collaborate with?
Actor, yeah, so many.
So many?
Ranveer, everyone. Why not?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been fantastic chatting with you, knowing you a little bit more better. And it's wonderful. We're going to cheer for you.
Thank you.
And cheer for the league as well, of course.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you once again, Preeti.
Thank you.